everyone, welcome to our 12th series of Queen Bee interview brought by you by the Chinese Moms in Business Club. My name is Sally Mea Yip. I'm the founder and MD of 11K Consulting, which is a China luxury PR agency here in the UK. And today I'm super honored to have two incredible ladies with me. One is my co-founder, Xiaofeng Sutton, the CEO of LNC Legal.
LNC Legal, yeah.
And the other person is Amanda, joining us from US today. Is our special guest sharing her inspirational stories with us today. So for those who don't know us, just briefly introduce our club. So we are a Chinese Moms in Business Club, and we welcome Chinese and cultural Chinese moms to join us. Our mission is really to empower and inspire Chinese moms in business to fulfill their potential at work and in life. And therefore, we launched this Queen Bee series during COVID last year, and we are very pleased to then interview lots of amazing women in Europe, UK, and US at this time. So without further ado, I would love to invite Xiaofeng to introduce our special guest today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. I think there's no need for me to introduce myself, and with Sally's kind introduction. And so it's really, as always, is my honor to introduce our guest today, Amanda. And she is personally passionate about finding balance on women's carrying different roles in life. And also what I love about her is she says, enjoying switching different roles in life or in business, particularly for women. Here we're talking about mothers. And herself, a very energized and organized character, and she called herself very adaptive into a very fast-paced environment. And so today I'm looking forward to hear her sharing her wisdom in life with us, with Sally and I, and also with our old and new friends from the Chinese Mom in Business Club. So Amanda, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Xiaofeng and Sally, and thank you guys so much for this opportunity for me to be the guest speaker for this Queen Bee series. I'm looking forward for our discussions, and hopefully some of our discussion points can benefit some of the other moms that are working in the business area.
Definitely, I'm sure. So Amanda, I know you're currently the finance manager at Energizer Holdings, which is one of the world's largest manufacturers, marketers, and distributors of household batteries, and global leader in automotive care. I know you are purely Chinese. I mean, hopefully you don't mind say that, but because you were actually born in China and grew up in Nanjing, and also went to Nanjing University, which is a very good university in China. And so how did you end up in US, and particularly now carrying a very senior leadership finance role in a multinational business?
And thank you for asking that question, Xiaofeng. I think it's a very good question because it pulled out the history of who I am and where I'm from. So I was born in China, in Nanjing, Jiangsu province, that's my hometown. And I stayed there for the first 20 years of my life. And I just remember when I was a little girl, I've always wondered what's on the other side of the globe. It wasn't a big dream for me, it was more of curiosity. So I just love like different cultures, different people, and I want to have opportunity to experience the different side of life. If I had a chance, I want to go to Africa someday and live there for a while. So like when opportunity opened up, I just grasped the opportunity. I attended a 3 years international study program in Nanjing University, where I received my Scottish associate degree in accounting. Most of my friends actually went to London to further their education afterwards, and many of them stayed there, and that's where they are today. You know, they opened up the companies and they had families, they got married. For me, I personally always wanted to take a look at United States. I just heard a lot of things about the States, and so that I took a trip to some of the major cities in the United States before I graduated from Nanjing University. I fell in love with the culture here. and I love the burgers, the cheese, the pizza, and, and all of the fast food on my trip. So I decided to come here, after my graduation to further my education. And I received my degree in both accounting and finance. When I'm here, following my graduation, I actually worked for a few companies, including Citigroup and Credit Suisse, which are both well-known in the banking industry. My most recent role was a vice president in Credit Suisse, where I was managing FP&A team to support the investment banking capital markets business. Before that, actually, I was also working for a medical software company called Allscripts. It's headquartered in Chicago. And that role is essentially where I started my strategy finance role. I truly enjoyed that role because I had the opportunity to support the sales and managed services functions for the business, where I was working with them on a daily basis, really understanding the business and played a very important part to drive the business growth. So I think that's where my strategy finance role really started. And I realized that's something like I really wanted to do for like a long period of time. That's where my passion is. Most recently, I'm very honored to join the world's largest manufacturers for household batteries, Energizer Holdings. And I mean, I love the company. Our company has a great culture. It's very diverse, very inclusive. I mean, we care about our brand and we truly care about our people. It's one of the company I work for. Like, it's the most, like, I think, a fascinating culture as far as I'm very proud to be part of the team. And as far as leadership position in finance, I think Sally and Xiaofang, I've always had a big interest in finance because I think it's very exciting, very challenging. You have to be very detail oriented, right? Putting the numbers, understand the logic, but also you need to be able to look at from more of a bigger picture perspective. And for me, I personally love just telling the stories behind the numbers, getting to different industries, understanding like how our product work, how our business work. And I think in terms of leadership position, there are three key things, led me to this position today. Number one is taking ownership. I take full responsibility for anything that's ever assigned to me, or I try to, either it's big or small. And I just remember when I was a financial analyst, I've already had the CFO mindset. I always ask the question why, and if things don't make sense, I always try to figure out, like looking at from big picture perspective, how the financials really all looking, all working together. And number two is quick on response. I believe in effective communication and efficient working. So for me, it's more important of working on things that are value added. And number three is just being honest and being respect. There's an old way of saying that, treat the other individual the way how you would like to be treated. I fully support that. So I think those are the key things. It's key three things, lead me to a leadership position. And obviously there's still so much I can learn in this way, and just from managing styles and so many successful managers that I can learn from them. But I truly think those are three things that were led me to my position today.
Fantastic. Wow, that's really perfect answer. I mean, all I can say is passion from your words. And I'm so happy for you. You actually find your passion. And it's actually very funny because the previous two interviewees, moms, are also working in finance, isn't it, Sally? Yeah. And I think I have to say I'm so proud to see so many Chinese moms and in such instrumental roles within business, and particularly actually in the multinational business, and your initiative views on trying to actually help the leadership team. Thank you very much. I'm very inspired.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry. And Amanda, I know that you have a 2.5-year-old son, and being a leader in your business, being a leader in your family. So, and then we have this COVID, and we are experiencing different phases in the US, UK, globally. So obviously COVID has forced many things to change, including how we work, how we live, and how we socialize. So I was wondering, in your perspective, do you think any of these will become permanent or long-lasting, in your opinions?
It's a very good question, because COVID has definitely been impacting a lot of families good and bad. I know mostly we focus on the bad part of the COVID, but I do think there's also a silver lining for COVID. Obviously, you don't want anybody that that has COVID, but also we are stuck in this thing, for a long period of time and will continue to. And, so really having a positive attitude and just kind of treat this as more of a normal thing on a daily basis, and what's the best you can get out of this is really important. So I think one silver lining part about COVID, to me, I personally saw, is really open up the doors for the company to have the opportunity to see that their employees can work in their own space, in their own time, compared to, I think, before COVID, right? A lot of companies had more of a traditional mindset where you have to be in the office, especially if you're leadership. You got to interact with your people. You have to understand, where everybody's hitting their deadlines, and just put the face-to-face interactions with the people. While I think it's important to build that connections and having the face-to-face interactions, it is not necessary from daily basis. And because of the COVID, it really opened up the doors, right? Now we can focus more on the family life. And before COVID, I never even thought about, to be honest, fully take a role that's fully remote, because our headquarters in St. Louis, and I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. That means I will be fully remote forever, and have the opportunity to go in the office and see my coworkers and management team. But I think with being able to work from home, people actually intentionally paying more attention to communicate. Just because we're home and we wanted to build the connections with others and doesn't want to impact work also. So there's a lot of conference calls through WebEx, through Zoom. It can be effective working and encourage people to turn on the cameras more than before, which is great, because you could be working in a physical location and work with somebody complete, in a different location, but you never see them. So my current job, actually, I do a lot of the video conference, and I truly enjoy them because it closed the gap for, limitations for physical locations. But one thing I would like to remind everybody, and we hear that talk all the time, it is very important to set up boundaries between work and life, especially currently your working space is your home, is your living space. So having the mindset that we're borrowing our living space to work, and there needs to be a time where the switch completely turn off, so we can return the space complete back to our families and our selves, is very important. But obviously I enjoy working from home because I get to see my 2.5-year-old self between my meetings. And before Nanny put him down for the nap every day, I get to see him. It is very rewarding and reassuring that he's learning, he's spending good time during the day. And it kind of make up the differences. When I was in the office, I couldn't see him until the end of the day. That you come home, you do the nighttime routines, you feed him, and then he goes down 7:30 to 8. So you only have 1 hour, an hour and a half time with them. I mean, it is challenging, especially when they're that young and they truly need you. The time is never going to go back. So I'm very thankful that right now, I have a great work and life balance, and everybody at my job, they truly understand the importance of being with families. So I think another thing that pandemic really taught me is don't take anything for granted. We may have big plans, expectations for future, but that future is not guaranteed. And what if things change? And it will change, because, one example is COVID. Nobody saw that coming a year, 2 years from now. So I think we just really need to live in the moment and cherish what we have, cherish the health you have, cherish the family and friends you have, and get out, do things, and get out, see things when you still can. So I think that's the biggest thing. And I'm truly believer for when we come out of the COVID, everything will be permanently different if it's not long-term impact. So it's a reality.
Yeah, definitely. I think we got to living, because dying is a pain in the ass. So one thing, I really share with you, Amanda, is about the communication. And so my company, Allison Legal, we actually, from the very beginning, we're working from home. All our team is actually remote working, even pre-pandemic. But even within pandemic, what I learned most is the skills to actually communicate more effectively, because everyone was actually, because of the emotional, well-being and emotional turbulence from the pandemic and working from home and then adding everything, they can't see their family. Actually, everyone found very difficult to, or even more difficult to listen and to communicate effectively, and also definitely see the intention from everyone within the team. They want to communicate more, they want to come out more, because the limitation, the thing been taken away, we can't actually go to physically meet. Now we have to really create opportunity. So I think that's really really good to hear. And then this is actually leading very nicely to the third question, because you mentioned about, currently you are actually very grateful for the work and life balance you are having. And I know in one of your recent LinkedIn posts, you mentioned that, women are often asked to switching between roles, and we carry the roles within business and mothers and a lot of roles we carry in life. And it's hard to find balance during this process. But it's critical to do so, which is I actually, both Sally and I are absolutely couldn't agree you more. And share some kind of your thoughts and your experience in finding the balance, and how you actually manage to switch the roles, different roles you're carrying, and then any practical tips and you can share with us and with our audience. That would be fantastic.
Absolutely. And to say that before I say it, I'm definitely not expertise. My son is 2.5 years old, and I definitely struggled as a working mom, especially in the initial stage. I did write that post on LinkedIn. And after I wrote that, I got a lot of attention, people reaching out to me. And that was exactly why I write it, because I'm reaching out to people, letting them know they're not alone. We all go through this stage. It is important to stay positive. And exactly what Sally, you and Xiaofang, you guys are doing here is for the moms to share our experience, and hopefully we can help others. So the reason why I started focusing more on this topic, because some of my, to be honest, some of my most recent experience as a mom and as a working mom. Previously, I was in a role very successful with a company where it involved a lot of overtime. And I think it was okay before I had my son. And that was the sacrifice I was willing to give, is for my work, for my career. But I got pregnant, I had my son, through this job. It really changed all the whole, um, like just overall perspective for me as a working mom. I think that I realized I was sacrificing more and more time that I could have spent with my son, but I chose to give it to my work. And I just couldn't go out for vacations where fully focus on him without worrying about work, making sure like everything is okay. And my husband always asked me like, why would you do this? Like, I know you love us. Like it's not like I'm not spending time with them, just I couldn't focus sometimes.
Yeah.
And I often tell him I don't have a choice. There's deadlines at work. But the reality is, ladies, there's always deadlines at work. There's always that choice. I think oftentimes we're too scared of making that choice, so we pretend the choice is not there. And so I made a decision, never thought I would make in my whole life. I left that role. It was a decision on my own, and I spent a few months fully to spend time with my son.
Right.
To me, there's always going to be that next role, but there's only once in your lifetime and your kids' lifetime, they're that little that they fully need you, and they want you to show them the world. They want to see the world through your own eyes and see how moms see the world. And I feel like that was really important to me. There, in the blink, of eyes, those opportunities never go back. You always have opportunity to further your education, to find a different role, but the time that you spend there and miss to, seeing your toddler and babies grow, which they grow every single day. They change so much every day. It's never going to go back. Personally, I think, being a working mom is actually making you a better mom. It is hard, but makes you a better mom, because when you're at work, you actually give your kids more independent space for him or her to learn. and to get interacted and learn from other individuals other than just the mom. It is very important for kids' growth and development, perspective. And also, being a working mom, I think you really cherish every single moment when you're off the work. You just want to soak in that every single minute, even just watching a show with your kids, taking naps, and anything that you do with them, it becomes more fun. And if they're nagging, maybe you have less complaints about it because you haven't seen them all day. You're like, oh, it's kind of cute, even though they're saying the no to you. um, so in terms of like practical like tips, for me, it's three things. One is just making family as your priority. So most of us, we love our job. It's like our baby. We wanted to see it grow,
Yeah.
and we wanted to feel good about being recognized at work and actually doing something to help others at work. But in reality, is you need to be able to have a satisfied job where you have a team that can fully support you and you have the control, in your work hours. That will give you the balance you truly need to have the peace and time spending with the family. Vice versa, if you have satisfied all your family's needs, right? You spend quality time with them, you feel you're empowered and you feel at work so you can actually accomplish the things without worrying about your family. It's all about finding that balance. It is hard, but it is possible. A lot of moms are doing that. A lot of moms, including myself, were exploring more ways of doing a better job on that.
Yeah.
Second of all, I think it's really just living the moment. It's not about how much time we spend with our family, but it's about like the minute you are spending the time with them, you're intentionally focused on the moment. That is something I think recently, the last 6 months to a year, I start paying more and more attention, and I'm starting tasting the sweetness of the fruit, for that. So like for me personally, my husband managed a team in India. So he starts his job relatively early in the morning. But to me, it's very important that I mentioned to him, and we do a good job together, is for the family to even spending 10, 15 minutes of the time together in the morning, sit down at the table with my son on the high chair, throw everything on the floor, and that doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
It's you dressed up for work and all that. But really just having a good breakfast together and start your day. And the other thing, for me, I like to start my day, ending my day with family. And during between, it's my time.
Yeah.
So like so the other thing that I, try to do is every night, me and my husband, we would do the best time for our son together. We feed him, we do story time, all the nighttime routines every single day. We lay him down in bed, we say night night, Evan, time to sleep, daddy, mommy, see you in the morning. Just every single night. Those two things are very, very important to me. And I have found it doesn't take much time to do that, what I just mentioned, but you put yourself in a situation on a daily basis, you reinforce that and you're soaking up every single moment. You're empowered with the feel that you truly need when you're walking away from the family roles, you switch to other roles. So
Yeah.
that has been working out for me. And
That's
then I think
fantastic. That's
yeah,
fantastic.
thank
Yeah.
you, Xiaofang.
I,
It is very important to me.
I think it's really mindset, isn't it? I really like what you says. We have a choice. We can actually choose, and also once we made the decision, we want that balance, or we want family life, and and also I agree with you. Work, a business, it's something we love, right? It gives us joy and also priority. And I think one of the things you were saying, you prioritize it. Things really important to you, family time and business and your work is important. You prioritize and you create actually a routine which is works for you, and then I can see you are actually stick to it. And
Mhm.
I think finding a balance doesn't mean it's easy. It's still hard work and still need discipline.
Mhm.
But I think that kind of I don't know. I can see from you is full of joy, and you definitely
Well,
radiate that kind of glorious glamour of being the
thank you,
new
Xiaofang.
mother, which is
Yeah.
really good. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think feelings all coming from experience. Like if you're going through the same thing at the same time, you have different mindset,
yeah,
you're going to have completely different feeling. And like the last thing I was going to mention is, for me, having a hobby is so important. Like I love to do interior design. Like Actually, perfect example is like the background, the wallpaper. I picked it, I put it up myself, I painted my whole room. That is my one thing to do in switching between roles. And I enjoy that because I feel like having something you really truly enjoy, take your mind off from always satisfy others' needs and always filling up the responsibilities. It will recharge you and give you a refreshing mind in switching roles. So like for me, that is one thing I enjoy to do. Love seeing you put a space into satisfy another family's needs and just in generally like people wanting to spend time in it. And I love that part. So
That's so good. I didn't actually think about that hobby is as actually one of the roles. That's really, that opened my mind. I don't know you, Sally. I didn't expect that. That was amazing because it is simply a way of role, a space for us to simply enjoy ourselves, off everything of other roles. By the way, I love gardening. So
thank you. Me too. I love like the nature and all that too. Yeah.
so that's for me. I'm normally when I'm actually stressed, I put it around in my garden. I like growing roses and tulips, and that's my joy. Sally, how about you?
Yes, I actually totally agree with Amanda. It's so important to have your me time, whatever you like to do. It can be a massage or facial appointment or something. It's my time that no one talk to me. So I think it's important as well, family, work, and me time. Yes, so thank you for your inspiration, Amanda. And that nicely come to the next question. You mentioned that you were working in banks and then now working for a global household battery firm. So I was very curious to know how the work working now, is it quite different from what you used to do, and what is your focus right now?
Yeah, absolutely. It is different, but similarly in a way that I'm still within kind of like a FP&A functions. But my role currently is more supporting the sales functions for our companies and helping them to understand what are the financial impact for the business decisions they make and how just brainstorming and see how we can explore ways to maximizing our bottom line, increasing our top line. And Energizer is a great company. We really have grown significantly in the past years, and we're continuing exploring ways to maximizing ours and our customers' benefits. And we're trying to figure out how do we continue, bringing this as a space. We do a really good job on that, but we'll continue trying to challenge ourselves. How do we make this a space where everybody loves to join the company and grow with the company? So far, I truly enjoyed, and I'm not saying that just because it's my current employer. Like I've seen a lot of different company cultures, but this is definitely the one for me, I would say. And then as far as focus at the current job, since I'm still new to the team, I joined our company about a month ago. So there are two key priorities for me at the moment. One is establishing the relationship with all the business partners, just diving like a sponge, like just soaking all the information I could get my hands on, understanding how our business works, understanding how our companies works, from overall all aspects. And second of all is I want to take advantage of being new to this company, to the business, and bringing in a fresh pair of eyes and evaluate and changing the team and changing the way how we've been doing things in the past and looking at, is there a better way of handling things that can make us more effectively working from process improvement perspective? And from business perspective, is there another way we can change the business to perform differently? So those are two key areas in my current work.
Fantastic. So what's the culture you love about your current company? Because you mentioned quite a few times, I can't help myself asking it.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I mentioned before, it's very diverse and very inclusive. And it's really a family-oriented family. It has the typical corporate culture, but everybody loves like working with each other. We care about people. And I'm not even joking, Stefan said the first 1 week I've been with the company, I probably showed my son in the camera to more people than 3 years in my last role. It's just that culture. You see dogs, you see the kids, on the screens. People don't mind. We understand there's family, and we all know we work hard to achieve the same goal together. People are very helpful. If you have questions, if you ask 10 times, nobody's going to turn around. Amanda's asked that question 10 times already. You feel comfortable asking the questions. And there's a lot of smart people in this company. People care about their products and they really value if you're coming from different background, if you come up with your own opinion. Which not a lot of companies are like that. They're used to doing things certain ways. You run into different walls if you're trying to accomplish something new. But here, at least in the 1 month of the time that I'm with the company, I can sense and talking with the people who has been here for long term, they told me it's a culture. If you have new ideas, never shy to share. If we can make this happen now, we'll either one, tell you why we have thought about in the past, we have not done that. Two, what are the limitations right now, but this is a great idea. How do we move forward with this? Who do we need to talk to in IT or infrastructure? Let's make it happen. So that's, so far good question, but that's why I love my company's culture.
Fantastic. Definitely feel like inclusive, isn't it? That's definitely something I need to learn from your company in terms of our company culture. So really, we're down to the last question, and it's a question I think often we ask, or I've been asked quite a lot of times. Are you a tiger mother? So, and this is the first one, and then the next one is: what 3 words would you want to your boy to describe you when he is grow up, a young man?
I love that. This is, maybe the last question I have. We have not sure, but I love to share about that because my husband is American, so he was born in the United States. He's a mix of Germany, Italian, Scottish, and so I was telling him about this question, and he's like, "Good thing I know what tiger mom means." So compared to some of the other people, probably don't know what tiger mom means, but I'm not a tiger mom, and I'll tell you why. Because I did grow up with a tiger mom. So, and I hope my mom's not listening to this. So when I grew up, most of my time for my childhood, I remember I was always studying. Even when I tried to help my mom doing dishes and try to sweep the floors and mopping the windows, my mom always come to me, "You don't have the time for this. You need to go back to your desk because golf call, like the very important exam you take before you go to college. It's all about that." And I hate it. And I don't think it's right. I mean, I'm thankful for what she did to me. And I spent so much time focused on academic, but I wish I had a different childhood where I could just lay in the ground, looking at the stars, playing with the dirt or grass or water, just have fun. So that's how I am with my son now. Interesting enough. I normally I go outside with him during the days and we just lay on the grass. Sometimes he pulls the grass and daddy comes tell us, "Don't do that." I'm like, "It's fine, he's just a kid." Or we will go down the slides, we play in the pools, like all different things. And to me, I think that's the childhood I want. And I feel like academic is important, but it is also important to have fun because that's how your kids know you through playing with you together. In terms of 3 words, I want my son to describe me when he grows up. That got me thinking. I think number 1 is dependent and present. I want him to know like I'm always there for him, even though maybe physically someday I may not be able to due to different limitations and our other obligations. But I want him to feel that he can openly share with me and what he went through, what he experienced, how he felt at the moment. And he knows that if he needs me, mommy is always one phone call away. I'm right there for him. And I think that's top 1. I don't want to miss the important stage in his life. And I think it is very important. Number 2, I think is just loving. I'm sure all the moms in the world want their kids to know that they love them. And even though my son's only 2.5 years old, I'm sure he knows I love him because occasionally he will come over and just hug my legs and kiss my legs and say, "Mama, I love you." And before I had kids, I never knew 2.5 years old would be able to do that. I was thinking it's like 4 or 5 years old. But anyways, I don't know. But it's really amazing and it feels like very needed. And the other thing is like, when my son is during the day, he's with nanny, or when he's with my husband during the weekend, if I'm doing other housework or other obligations for the house, if he falls down, he started crying. And I go over there, pick him up, And I pet him for a second, and he immediately stopped crying. And my husband's like, I don't know what it is with the magic mom touch. It always works. And to be honest with you, it makes me feel very special because mom has a special heart in their kids, a special place in their kids' heart, and make me feel like I'm wanted and I'm desired. So, and
Yeah.
lastly, I think I want my son to think I'm a fun mom. I know I mentioned a couple of times in this interview. I really wanted to show an attitude for him that we have responsibilities in life. It is so important for us to recharge and have fun. It is important for us to identify who we are, right? And what do we enjoy to do? So like, I would be doing things I love to do while my son's doing things he likes to do. And that's the best moment that I truly enjoy.
Fantastic. Present, loving, and fun. I think it's not inspirational goals, guys. It's something which is actually we can do. And thank you very much, Amanda, for sharing. I truly really enjoyed it, and I hope for all our audience today and for all the Chinese mom out there who's going to watch the recording and inspired by your story. I have to say you are radiant with gratitude and love and fun, and that's fantastic. I think every single mom needs to, Chinese mom, especially us, Chinese mom with a culture which is focused on study. I think finding our sense of fun and joy in our own life, not our kids, but us, walk the talk. And so that we can actually set a good life example for our children to actually see life is actually about fun and other obligations. Sally, over to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing your stories. Especially it's our first time to meet each other online, and I feel now I know you much more, and I would love to learn from you to be more relaxed and to be
No,
more.
thank you.
Yes, and to
Yeah.
reinforce my first world, my me time. That's my.
Fantastic.
And I'm afraid that our time is running out, and I hope you all enjoy this sharing with Amanda. And if you have any feedback or have any ideas for our next guest speakers, please do drop your messages on our LinkedIn, the Chinese Moms in Business Club. And also feel free to reach out to me and Xiaofeng on LinkedIn and email. And I hope to see you all very soon. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Amanda.
Everyone. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. It's very good discussion sharing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.